What's up, manga fans? This is Rafael from C Manga, and welcome back to another review of the Breaker New Waves. This week's chapter 167. So, despite it being a fairly short chapter, not much happening in terms of action and plot progression, it was still enjoyable because I just love seeing the parallels this manga loves to draw between Shi-Woon and Chang-Woo. We saw it in last chapter when Shi-Woon used the exact same moves Chang-Woo used at the beginning of the Breaker to finish off the police chief. And now we're seeing like a parallel in their attitudes, in a way, their mannerisms and their attitude basically. And it's something we've seen before, but with these later chapters, it's been made more apparent that Shi-Woon is literally Chang-Woo's true disciple, and through his mannerism, the way he lives his life, his fighting style, everything is literally being passed down to Shi-Woon. And the parallel, as I said in this chapter, was enjoyable because we literally see them literally making two so-called powerful people in the mirror world look like little fools. So at the beginning of the chapter, we see the aftermath of Shi-Woon, who's dealt with the police chief. I'm assuming he's dead because that blow to the head on a concrete floor, it probably has killed him. If not, he's just really badly not out, unconscious. But yeah, his phone was ringing and Shi-Woon answered it. And before he answered it, he could hear Jae-Gal basically asking, "What's happening? Your information is slowed down with the updates. Is the runt dead? And have you dealt with him?" And Shi-Woon's like, "Who are you referring to as a runt? Me?" And Jae-Gal tries to play off smart, saying, "Oh, wrong number. Sorry about that." But Shi-Woon isn't having any of this, and he's like, "Stop trying to pretend and play coy." He's like, "Do you think scheming bastards such as yourself who hides behind people, can stop me?" He's like, literally, he's laid down the gauntlet and said, "Prepare for your demise, because I'm coming for you." I think he basically said, "I'm going to find each and every one of you and destroy you all." So it kind of made me think, wow, Shi-Woon is turning hardcore militant. He's kind of reminded me of I think it was that film Taken, when he was on the phone and threatening the person who kidnapped his daughter, and kind of like Kill Bill, because she was going after all the people that she had on her list. So this is kind of the similar aspect. Shi-Woon is on a manhunt now, and he's gonna take out a few people. So it was enjoyable to see that, even though Jae-Gal laughed it off, calling him some woo guide you. I'll look forward to that. I'm pretty sure he's a bit miffed now. So later on, we see basically the SUC and some of the SUC captains gathered at the Seoul Tower, waiting for Chang-Woo to arrive, and we see Hyung-Hook, I can't pronounce his name properly, realizing that the explosion that's happened nearby was very peculiar, but Jong-chan doesn't seem bothered by it. So he's like, he knows something about this. There's definitely, he knows why that explosion occurred. So Hyung is very intelligent. This guy never seems to let much go past him. So we see what I'm assuming is a flashback of Jae-Gal speaking with Jung-chan, and he's informed that Shi-Woon is on his way to Seoul Tower. Jae-Gal is peed off about this. I mean, no, Jae-Gal is basically obviously peed off Jung-chan, because he's like, "Are you messing about with me? I'm going to punish you for this." Despite the fact that Jae-Gal said he's going to deal with it, Jung-chan is obviously frustrated because he's being left out of the loop, and it's starting to become a lot more obvious that Jung-chan is not as in charge as he believed himself to be. So yeah, it's kind of funny that he's starting to feel more like a small little boy rather than the SUC commander-in-chief. We saw a bit of Ji-Woo in this chapter. She seems quite upset. Something Young noticed, but there wasn't any dialogue from her, so I'm wondering what's going through her mind. And then finally Chang-Woo arrives. He's greeted by all the SUC, and Jung-chan especially sucking up to him, but he's very much intimidated by his intense pressure, and he even tries sucking up to him when he sees Chang-Woo going the opposite way from Seoul Tower, saying, "Oh, I'll be your guide, honorable Nine Arts." And the Chang-Woo just like literally backhands him. It's like, "Don't get clingy." And it was hilarious because he's got knocked back and put in his place like a little boy. And as I said, that parallels to Shi-Woon basically making Jae-Gal look like an idiot as well. They're both being as I said, put in their place, and it was enjoyable. And then we have Jae-Gal come along, basically lead the way, leaving Jung-Chan confused about what's going on. So yeah, that's all there was to say about this week's chapter. As I said, it was very short. But despite that, I said I still enjoyed it for the whole parallels I told you about. I still think the plot is moving along quite consistently, despite the fact we get, you know, a few short chapters here and there. But, you know, it's reaching, you know, obviously the epic battle towards the end, you know, the whole climax, things like that. I just can't wait to see Shi-Woon finally catch up to Chang-Woo, see what happens from there. Shi-Ho should appear eventually whenever that happens, and I think So-Chun might arrive soon too, because obviously he was planning to go and help Shi-Woon. So I can imagine that maybe he will be able to fight against Jung-Chan, because it seems like they have some unfinished business, and their family anyway, it seems like he's kind of reserved to fight him. And speaking of Jung-Chan, as I said before, it seems like his position of power isn't as powerful as he seems to think. It's kind of made apparent that he's clearly being left out of the loop of most of this plan, despite him being the SUC commander. It seems like Kaiser is more indirect. I'd say his orders and his communication is more direct towards Jae-Gal and the police chief, and Jae-Gal was referring to the police chief, so that makes him even higher than that. So I'm assuming Jung-Chan is just there for the ride or whatever, or he's just being used to govern the SUC, you know, like a little puppet or pawn to be used. And he's getting frustrated because he's being left out of the loop so often. Now he's starting to realize that he's nothing. Even as I said, with Chang-Woo backhanding him, basically, get away from me, it's so hilarious. It's like, get away, you little brat. So that was enjoyable. I'm glad anyway, because he really peed me off. I could not stand Jung-Chan, especially how he treated Shi-Woon and So-Chun. So hopefully he gets what's coming to him. And yeah, that's about it for this week. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen next week. Hopefully we'll have a bit more pages and obviously more content. And yeah, the action should obviously start picking up soon. So that's all. As I said, that's all I got to say about this week's chapter. It was short but enjoyable for what we got, and I can't wait for next week. So you guys know the usual. If you got any opinions, predictions, comments about this one and the next one, leave them in the comment box below. And also, if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more content, and I'll speak to you guys next week.